Thursday, May 30th, Konami reemerged once again with its second Silent Hill transmission. The previous one was in fall of 2022, and it announced the Silent Hill 2 remake along with 3 other original Silent Hill games and a Silent Hill 2 film directed by Christoph Gans called Return to Silent Hill. 2 years later, we were met with the second transmission, which focused solely on the Silent Hill 2 remake and the Return to Silent Hill film. Now, back in late January, early February, we were given a combat teaser of the Silent Hill 2 remake, and I made a video about why I was excited for it and why I think that both fans of Silent Hill and, gamers who maybe aren't familiar with the series because they haven't been given a chance to play it because it's borderline inaccessible, should give it a chance. Now, this video, I'm not a huge YouTuber. It's one of the biggest, it's one of the most viewed videos I've ever made because, Discourse. Everybody loves Discourse. And overall, I think the conversations, I think it has the most comments of any of my videos because it warrants a conversation. And I think that, there were definitely people that didn't agree with me, and that's fine. Have your opinion. I respect that. But it was cool to see people engage with each other, agree with me, disagree with me, whatever. Now, I was very adamant in that video that I didn't want to blindly defend a game that I haven't played yet. And I'm not here today to do that either. I don't want to just blindly defend this game, but based off of the information that we were given at the Silent Hill transmission on May 30th, I think it's time to come back and have this conversation again. Because, frankly, I'm excited as hell. I'm not going to blindly defend it. I do have criticisms I want to get to. I'm not a Konami shill. I've had so many fat comments. The Konami shill comment has hurt more deeply than any of the fat comments because I do like to eat chicken tenders and burgers, but I do not want to be accused of being a Konami shill when they're not actually paying me. Okay. But I also think that the reactions that were negative this time around were pretty problematic. Not all of them. Totally valid criticisms. No matter what, I have learned from the reaction to the release date trailer and the gameplay shown in the transmission, there is nothing to please some people. And not for wrong reasons either. There are people that are not going to be pleased simply because they don't want the original game messed with. And you know what? While I don't personally agree with that, I can respect that. And I do think that maybe, just go play the original then, and you don't need to rag on this. But that's fine. However, there have been some really, really just downright mean, hurtful things said specifically about the character of Angela. So I will be getting into that today. I'm sure if you clicked on this video, you assume that that's going to be a main subject. But I kind of want to just go over what was shown in the trailers and the transmission stuff. And, it's just, this is a subject I want to keep following. And, I do want to continue to be a positive voice for this game because, truthfully, the success or failure of this game is going to determine what we as Silent Hill fans get in the future. And I want more. I want more remakes. I want more original games. I don't want the series to just die. I want Silent Hill to have a Resident Evil trajectory. And you know what? You may not want that, and I don't know. I don't agree with that. I don't want a series that I love to die when it has a chance to flourish and, inspire and excite and scare the shit out of an entire new generation of people. I think that's so exciting. Hello. My name is Glitchwitch.ba. Y'all, I'm sorry. I didn't sleep last night. I drove home from Atlanta. I've been home for like an hour, and I'm on fumes. Hello, my name is Glitchwitch.jpg. I make videos about internet horror, typically more stuff like analog horror, digital horror, creepypastas, but I do dabble in survival horror, and it is almost always Silent Hill. So, oh shit, here we go again. What can I say? What exactly was revealed? Maybe you're coming to this video to learn what was announced, or you're already part of the discourse and you just want to froth at the mouth some more. But regardless, I'm gonna kind of give a rundown of what all was revealed Thursday. I'm recording this on Saturday, so 2 days later. I've been stewing for 2 days. PlayStation had a state of play before the Silent Hill transmission. And at the state of play, they revealed the release date for Silent Hill 2 Remake, which is October 8th, 2024. It's a glitchwitch.jpg national holiday because it's either the day that I will be vindicated for all of the things I'm saying about this game, or I don't know, I'll just be JoJo Siwa karma-ing all over the place. I'm not gonna sing that song out loud because I've heard that she's content striking people for even just jokingly singing it, so I'm not doing that. Anyway, excited about that. October 8th, what happened in this trailer? Oddly enough, I did not expect this from this trailer. It's basically just an Angela trailer. Angela Orozco is a character from Silent Hill 2. She's one of my favorite characters, and I've been waiting with bated breath to see how this game was going to handle her. She is another person in Silent Hill while James is looking for Mary, and her background is that she was a victim of abuse at the hands of her father when she was a child, and it's really sad. It's maybe the heaviest, like, subplot in the entire game, if not the entire franchise. It's heavy as hell. So I was interested to see how that would be handled, and I was just really excited to see her, and unfortunately, she is at the crux of a lot of the controversy. I will get into that later. I'm just kind of explaining what was shown in the trailer. So it's pretty much the, like the graveyard scene, and then we see a little bit of gameplay, and we see some more Angela, we see the Abstract Daddy, which is one of my favorite monsters in all of Silent Hill history. So excited that they highlighted that one. Didn't expect them to highlight that one. I literally saw someone on Twitter be like, why would they choose that to be the monster to highlight in the trailer? It's just a rectangle. And y'all's goat isn't a triangle. Everything shapes. Did you know? Anyway. So that came out. Super excited. And then the transmission revealed, like, 15 minutes-ish of gameplay. Within that, they showed the sequence at the beginning of the game when James first comes into Silent Hill and he finds the first monster, which is a lying figure. And it's really cool because they changed it up a little bit. And that's perfectly, to be perfectly honest, that's what I want out of this remake. I want the story, like the basic plot beats and, you know, narrative as in like the events that happen to stay the same, but maybe present it a little differently. Maybe introduce some new locations or change shots and things like that, because the way I view this is I don't want a shot-for-shot remake. I want to change it up a little bit, because I think that, you know, as a fan that's already played the original Silent Hill 2, I don't want to just play the same thing again. I want quality of life updates. I want, you know, little different things to have a little bit of a different experience. And I know that there's an argument against that, because then, you know, new fans who never got a chance to play the original aren't getting it in its purest form, but they're not going to anyway, because it's not the same game. It's never going to be the same game. But anyway, I liked this. In the original Silent Hill 2, in this scene, he just kind of goes into like almost like a backyard, like a shed, and he's still pretty much outside in this little like shed garage thing, and that's where he meets the lying figure. In this, he like crawls through a garage and then enters a house and fights the lying figure in the house, and this got me really excited. Like I said, I've been very positive and very excited about this game pretty much since it was announced. I liked the combat trailer from back in January, although it was later confirmed that That was old footage. Bloober was basically like, we gave that to Konami a year ago. I don't know why they just put it out. Love you, Konami, you psychos. Anyway, this scene where James fights the lying figure got me so excited. The combat looks fun, but it still is kind of janky and not, you know, Leon Kennedy professional. And I love the lying figures. I need to not get into my opinion too much yet, because we're going to get there later. So we see that. We meet Laura during the gameplay footage, which I think is really cool. Love how she looks. And then we go to the hospital, where we also see Maria, another point of contention in all of this. I'll get into that later. Super cool. Get to explore the hospital, see the nurses. And then it ends with the scene where Laura and James kind of get into the little fight about Mary's letter, and she locks him in the room with the monsters, which, super excited. I'm super excited. And the rest of the trailer, or the transmission, I'm not going to get too much into it. It's like pre-order information and merch. You can buy James's jacket, which I think is really funny, and I've seen a lot of people say they've already ordered it, which I think is great. I think that's very, I don't know, it's enjoyable. And then there is a teaser for Return to Silent Hill. I don't know what I think of it. I'm not getting into that today because I can't handle getting into that today. I was not very hopeful for that. Now I'm like kind of hopeful, but then I think about Maria's wig and I don't know.
That's hair.
No, it's not. That's a wig.
That's hair.
No, it's not. That's a goddamn wig.
That is hair.
That is a wig, Mary.
So that's what was revealed on Thursday. I'm now going to get into my main points, which are basically, I'm going to cover, in my last Silent Hill 2 Remake video, I kind of touched on major points of controversy and discourse and what I thought of them. So I'm going to do that again. And, you know, we have to start with character design and voiceovers. Please help me, Jesus. Okay. So, this game, from its inception, has had character design controversies. People did not like how James looked. People were really pissed when the initial image came out from the original transmission way back when. They were not happy. They thought he looked old. They thought he looked ugly. They thought he looked cringe. And I went on record. I thought he looked hot. Because I like a pathetic, weird, sad old man. In fiction. In fiction. So I was excited by it. But they did revamp his design a little bit. They made him a little bit younger, which, you know what? I get it. He's supposed to be like 29. My argument in the last video was I kind of like the idea of an older James because then he's had more time with Mary. I still do like that in theory, but that's not what we're getting. So I've gone from my head. I don't know. There's nothing I can do about it. So I do think he more accurately looks his age. I think that there's a really good aspect with this redesign where he seems like an approachable normal guy. Like, he's not like hunky, handsome, sexy. He is an attractive man. Like, you would trust him. Like, it's this weird thing of like, oh, say you're like, you know, concerned someone's following you. He looks like the type of person that you would go up to and be like, hey, like, can I use your cell phone? Ooh. That, I think, is an interesting design for this character. I'm spoiling. I assume if you're watching this video, you know what happens. So anyone who doesn't know the ending of Silent Hill 2 when this game comes out will be like, ugh. Like, I think it just adds to the whole layers and layers of James. I have not really seen that much criticism about this second version of James. I really haven't. I think that's good. I'm glad we've all calmed down for a second. I have seen some people say they don't like the voice acting. I think I'm gonna save that for the end because that's a whole separate thing, like the end of this section. So next I'm gonna move on to, like, what order do I do this in? I'm gonna move on to Maria because I'm gonna save Angela for last because I think there's the most to be said there. So we finally got just a little glimpse of Maria in the gameplay teaser. We see her in the hospital with James, and The main criticism that people are having about her is the outfit redesign. So, in the original Silent Hill 2, Maria is in this Christina Aguilera-inspired, very Y2K little mini skirt, little crop top, little sweater, and she's got her little butterfly tattoo on her, hip. And I love Maria. I love her original design. Really no notes. Like, I love her. And in the remake, she is in, like, a black mini dress with, like, a hot pink, like, girly leather jacket and boots. And because you can't see her midriff anymore, they moved the butterfly tattoo up to her chest. And her hair is still pink. She's still got the pink bob. And people are upset about this, not for, like, their traditional, like, you desexified my video game character. We'll get into that in a second. They are rightfully critiquing this because the whole point of Maria is that she is supposed to be James's most, like, sexualized, lustful interpretation of his wife Mary that he could possibly muster. And a lot of people, perhaps rightfully, aren't seeing that with this redesign. Now, to be perfectly honest, I like it. I'm not mad. I think that if you had that exact costume that she has in the original now, it would look a little silly just because that's such a, like, Y2K look that I just don't think it would be pulled off. And I know some people are even saying they're worried that, like, Christina Aguilera would sue. I don't think she cares that much. I really don't. But I do think that there could have been a middle somewhere. Like, I've seen lots of cool fan redesigns on Twitter that kind of incorporate a little bit more of the original with the new one. And I've even seen some original concept art from back when they were developing it that had, like, the leather jacket, so maybe they took inspiration from that. I'm not mad. I like it. I think she looks super cute. I think she still looks like, I don't know, she gives me, like, trashy party girl. Very, like, Tumblr, pastel goth. I listened to the 1975, which I know is maybe not what people want out of Maria, but is that not what a 2024 Maria would be? And as far as the argument of, like, that's the sexiest thing James can think of, I can delusionally argue for that, because if we go off of James being this, like, super milquetoast, waspy, suburban, boring white man, that, like, the idea of, like, the sexy version of his wife, she'd just be a bad girl in a leather jacket, which I think is funny, and I think that that would speak a lot to James's repression, because he's clearly very sexually repressed. He's Mr. Sexually Repressed, in fact. I think that just adds kind of a layer of both it's funny and complexity to his character and his struggles with his own sexuality and what he desires. Like, clearly he desires more than leather jacket mini skirt or mini dress, but his little brain can't even begin to get there, if that makes sense. That's kind of how I feel about it. I am certainly not going to sit here and tell you you're wrong if you don't like the redesign. I get it. Like, I do get the argument, absolutely. And also, one of the concerns I've seen that I can also understand, to be perfectly honest, is she looks really worried in a lot of the screen grabs that we've gotten from the trailer, whereas pretty much throughout all of Silent Hill 2, she's kind of just, like, smug and, like, yeah, whatever, like, we'll do what we have to do. Oh. So, I hope that it's just maybe out of context, it doesn't make sense, and it will make sense, but I'm excited to see her more, when I actually play the game. And that's another thing. That's why I'm not going to sit here and blindly defend the game or condemn the game, because we don't know the full picture. We haven't even seen Eddie. You know what I mean? And I'll touch on Laura a little bit. I've seen some criticism of Laura. To be perfectly honest, I don't get it. She looks like a little kid. She sounds like a little kid. I think she's cute. She's a little brat, kind of. That's the whole point. I really love the Remake's version of her and James talking about Mary's letter, where then she locks him in the room. I think that gave me a lot of hope for the voice acting in general, especially of James, because you get the, like, anger and the frustration out of James a lot more than you did in the original, and I like that. I like if we slowly we'll get things that make you go, ooh.
Laura, why do you keep running away from me? And how do you know about Mary?
Mary's my friend. We met at the hospital last year.
Stop lying! Laura, I'm sorry, I didn't mean...
Fine! Don't believe me! See if I care!
Hey!
Let go!
I'm sorry, Laura, but I can't let you just run around this place. You might get hurt.
Hurt by what?
Look, just stay with me, okay? This is no place for a kid.
Fine. But there's something I gotta get.
Laura.
It's important.
What is it?
A letter. For Mary.
What?
I hid it. In there.
You sure this is where you left it?
It's in the back. Behind an old pipe.
Okay, wait here. Open the door, Laura.
Why should I? I'm a liar, right? Want me to open it? Huh? Do ya?
Let me out of here, you little brat!
In your dreams, fart face.
Please open the door. There's something in here.
Sure there is. A big lying fart face. See ya, fart face!
Laura! Laura!
What's up with this guy? I think that's an interesting choice, and a good choice for reimagining of this story without fully reimagining the story. Now, the big thing at hand is Angela. And I'm kind of in shock that I'm even having to say some of the things I'm about to say, because I watched that trailer without having seen any reaction online pretty much right after it dropped. And all I thought was, oh my god, she looks young, and she looks shy and self-conscious and lost, and I was so happy and relieved. And I did not anticipate the sea of discourse that would be around this character. And you know what? I will say it, there is some criticism of this redesign that, while I don't agree with, I can respect where it's coming from. But there is some things people are saying that is just, like, deplorable. I don't really know what else to say. So, I'll start with the criticism that I can at least understand. And, essentially, Angela Orozco is, as I mentioned earlier, she's supposed to be a 19-year-old victim of child abuse at the hands of her father. And like every other character in the original Silent Hill 2, she doesn't look that young. She looks like she's 35. And the argument that people who are not that some people who are not happy with the redesign are making is that the intention of the original team was to design her older to show the impact that abuse can have on people, that it wears on you and it makes you feel older, and you know, you're kind of forced to confront things and grow up faster perhaps. And that juxtaposed with her childlike voice, like her very kind of babyish voice, kind of, it's supposed to be a juxtaposition there. I get that. I prefer what's happening in the remake though. I like that she looks like an insecure, shy 19-year-old, because then it makes you, the audience, confront the fact that, like, this child essentially was abused most of her life, and she's never gotten a chance to grow up in the way that she should have been able to. Sure, it can force you to grow up quicker, but it also can stunt your growing up. And I think it's just exploring how abuse can affect victims in different ways. And again, I have not experienced anything like this, so take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but that's how I'm interpreting this and why I really like it. I really enjoy her voice actress, because she's just so quiet and timid.
I'm sorry, I was just...
It's okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost. I'm looking for Silent Hill.
I think you should stay away. This town, there's something wrong with it?
Is it dangerous?
Maybe.
I'll be careful.
I'm not lying.
I guess I don't really care if it's dangerous or not.
And she feels like a real person. Like, sometimes in the original, I'll be frank with you, like, the babyish voice is kind of grating.
I'm sorry. I
No,
was
it's
just...
okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost.
Lost?
Yeah. I'm looking for Silent Hill. Is this the right way?
Yeah. It's hard to see with this fog, but there's only the one road. You can't miss it.
Thanks.
But
Yes?
I think you'd better stay away. This town, there's something wrong with it. It's kind of hard to explain, but
Is it dangerous?
maybe. And it's not just the fog either.
Okay,
It's...
I got it. I'll be careful.
I'm not lying.
No, I believe you.
And causes this disconnect, at least for me, with the character. I struggle with most of the voice acting in the original. I don't like Guy Seehee. I've said that openly on this channel before. I think he makes a very serious, well thought out game really stupid in some parts. I don't think he's a good voice actor for games. I prefer, whenever I've had to play the remastered version, I've played both versions, the original and the remastered, but I choose new voices because he drives me crazy. And I kind of feel the same way about Angela. So I, after seeing this trailer, was really, really excited about that. But again, I can completely respect people preferring the way it was handled in the original. I think that's a valid criticism. The criticism that I don't find valid is that she's woke. They wokeified her. Which, what do you mean they wokeified the 19-year-old child abuse victim? What are you talking about? And what does woke mean to these people? It means she's fat. And frankly, she's not. She's quite slender. If you look at her body, she has a round face and she's wearing a turtleneck, so it makes her round face look rounder. And even if she was fat, it doesn't matter. Like, why do you care? Why does every single video game character have to be sexy? This is not a character that was ever originally sexy. Why do you need her to be sexy now? It's just weird to me. I don't get it. Like, that was never... I don't think that was ever an intention. From the game developers from Team Silent way back when. I've never seen anyone sexualize Angela from the original. And, like, I'm in these circles. I'm on Tumblr. I'm on AO3. Like, I know, I know who people are horny for in this game. And I've never seen anyone be horny for Angela because it's weird. And it's disrespectful to the game and to the character. And sure, I know someone is going to call me a hypocrite in the comments because I made a comment about how James is hot earlier. The difference between me and you is I don't need James to be hot. I'm making a joke about, oh, they made him sexy. I don't think he's sexy in the original, and it doesn't matter. I still like the game. Because I can play a game without needing to constantly find someone sexy. And again, this character was never supposed to be sexy. Maria is right there. This is a game that literally has a character that is a manifestation of sexual desire. And you're complaining that the victim of child abuse isn't pretty enough? That's crazy to me. Like, and if you'll notice, all the criticism is about Angela, Maria, Laura. Do you all hate women? Like, I hate to be the annoying gamer feminist right now, but it's mind-boggling to me, because this is a series that really has compelling, interesting women, and they're just being totally disregarded based off their looks. Like, I fear when a Silent Hill 3, if a Silent Hill 3 remake comes out, what are you freaks going to say about Heather, who's a child? I know you're gonna be weird. So maybe I don't want a Silent Hill 3 remake, for Christ's sakes. I'm getting heated. I'm sorry. She literally just looks like a woman. And I know this, I'm going to use this as a segue into really the greater problem with people's dissatisfaction for any of the redesigns compared to the original. And this is a complaint I can get. I'm shifting out of rage mode. I'm calm. I'm going back to level-headed glitch witch. It's gonna calm down. And I know all you are gonna be like, "What? You're not mad about her because you're fat like her." Go ahead, whatever. I don't give a. Yes, I have a round face like Angela. Ugh, leave her alone.
Leave her alone!
Anyway, back to actual criticisms that I understand. A lot of people are struggling with all of these redesigns because, frankly, they look like real people. Like, Angela looks like a woman you would see at the grocery store. I could pick out 10 people at the grocery store that look just like Angela, that look just like Maria, that look just like James. They look like normal people. In the original Silent Hill 2, those do not look like real people. They look scary. This was intentional, you know? They, like, all have the same face model. Team Silent was crazy. It's why we love them. The game characters all have a very specific, scary, haunted, uncanny valley look. And, you know, as much as we do want to say, oh, it's because it was intentional, it was this, it was that, sure. But it was also because it was on the PlayStation 2 and the graphics were limited. And now they're making it for the PlayStation 5. And they're following what the entire gaming industry is doing, and that's trying to make people look realistic. And sure, would it be cool if they went really stylized? Yeah, but in what world would they? We know they're trying to copy Capcom. Konami hasn't had an original thought since 2000. So of course, they're trying to follow that trajectory. And there's nothing we can do about it. And I think they look really good, considering that they're gonna look like real people. It's the same thing. Look at like Alan Wake 2. They look like real people. That's just what's hot right now in gaming. Everybody's competing to have the most realistic pores. And I don't agree with that. I love stylization in video games. I also think that stylization can be achieved with environments and environmental storytelling and creatures while still having very real, grounded looking people. And I think that this game is going to succeed at that. Another game that I've been playing a lot recently that I think succeeds at really well is Death Stranding, which I know is another controversial game, and you bitches are going to be like, of course this bitch likes Death Stranding. I do. But, it's literally Norman Reedus, but the environments and the tech and the BTs and everything are also stylized and interesting, that the environment is what it tells that crazy story. And that to me has always been what Silent Hill is about, is the town, is the environment. And that is something that I think is being done really well with this remake, which I'll get onto in a second. It's a whole separate point. But I can get why people are missing that uncanny valley weirdness. Because it's what we're used to, it's what we're nostalgic for. But that's not going to exist off of a PlayStation 2. And I guarantee you, if, the Angela design from 2 came out today, the Maria design from 2 came out today, and people had never seen them before, they would be putting yassified filters over them, calling them dumb, ugly whores, and all that bullshit. Because that's just how people react to this stuff. They're so goddamn critical of every single female character in a video game. And even males, too, because look at how people reacted to James. They're not real. It's okay. Calm down. Go play something else if you need... I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna stop. Okay. Now, with the voice acting, I've touched on it a little bit already. I am thrilled so far with everything that I've heard. James, I think, sounds like a real person. I hate Guy Seehee. He's a 5G truther, anti-vax psycho, and he's a horrible voice actor. He literally sounds insane in that role. It does not fit to me. You can make all the arguments you want that it adds to the uncanniness, blah, blah, blah. It's just bad, if you ask me. I really like this new guy. He sounds like a real person, and there's that edge. Like I said, that scene with Laura, like the delivery is showing that there's something more boiling under the surface.
Laura, why do you keep running away from me? And how do you know about Mary?
Mary's my friend. We met at the hospital last year.
Stop lying. Laura, I'm sorry, I didn't mean...
And I really like that. Laura sounds like a little girl. I don't really know what else to say. She sounds like a child. That's all I need, because she's a little girl. And Angela, I, again, said it earlier already. I already jumped ahead and talked about this, but I'll say it again. Completely 180 for me. I like how quiet she is. She just sounds like a bored, sad, scared 19-year-old. And again, there may be actual people who have experienced things that Angela has experienced that disagree with me here, and that's valid, and I'm not trying to talk for you. I sometimes find her vocal delivery in the original, like, infantilizing. And I don't know if that's conveying the correct message to the situation. I get why they did it, but I also think that we have come a long way since that game came out in understanding and respecting victims of abuse like that. And that's not me knocking the original. The fact that Team Silent even had the balls to include her storyline in a video game in 2001 is incredible. And I think this is going to be handled well, which is crazy to say because Bloober absolutely has a terrible history with subject matter like this. But based off this trailer, I am hopeful. I was really, really nervous about Angela because of Bloober's history, which is not being able to handle abuse in a respectful manner. But I'm hoping that because they're pulling from the source material and just adding these little tweaks like the design and the vocal delivery, that I think it will be handled really well. And of course, we don't know for a fact. I could be completely wrong, and if I am, I will admit it. I am not holding myself to these words. This is my opinion as of right now. So, now that we've gotten past the characters, why don't we move on to the environments? We got to see a lot more of Silent Hill in mostly the gameplay shown in the transmission, and I think this is what really, really sold me, where I was fully like, let's go. I think the fog is gorgeous. I think the hospital looks great. You know, like I said, I like that certain things are being expanded upon. Like, I know it's small and it's subtle, but just James going into a house to meet the lying figure for the first time. I think it just looks gorgeous. It looks fully realized, and I think it looks like a natural modern evolution of the game environments we had on the PS2 in 2001. And I'm super hopeful. We haven't really seen much of the other world yet. Super excited about that. And I think that'll be a big tell. Like, that could make or break it, for sure. But I was hopeful about that. I haven't really seen much criticism, to be fair, about the environment. So, not much to say about that. But I did want to point out I'm excited. I was very excited when they showed James in the hospital that there was a red save square. I have my red save square tattoos. So I was really excited that they kept that, just like how in the Resident Evil remakes they kept the typewriters and stuff like that. So that made me happy. So now let's talk about the combat. We saw a little bit of this combat back when, I made the original video, which we now know was old footage. But specifically when you see James with the lying figure in that scene that I keep referencing, I think it looks great. And the Bloober team specifically mentioned in their little segment of the transmission that, James is a guy who doesn't know how to fight. So that's reflective in the gameplay. And I think that's smart, because this is never going to be a, super secret agent crazy bam, bam, bam game. That's just not what Silent Hill is. Unless you're Alex Shepard and you're Delulu and think you're a soldier, but I like Homecoming, I'm sorry. I always try to plug Homecoming or Downpour whenever I can. And I like that they addressed that, because that was a huge criticism that people were having. They thought that James looked too much like he just knew how to pick up a gun and bam, bam, bam and look like Leon Kennedy. So I liked that they addressed that, and that seemed to be reflective. That seemed to be reflected in the gameplay shown in the transmission. So I'm excited about that. To be frank, I talked about this a lot already in my last video. The gameplay in Silent Hill 2 original, it's not fun. The combat's not fun. The combat's not fun in any of them, except for Homecoming, once again. So I think this is a quality of life improvement, and I'm excited about it. I don't know. I haven't seen as much criticism, to be fair. It's mostly really been character stuff. So I'm really I'm leaving the criticism. There actually has been a lot of positive things being said this time around, which makes me happy. I walked out of the transmission being like, everyone's gonna love this. The haters they're gonna shut up. No, I was wrong, obviously. I should have known that. But there has been a lot more positivity than I really deep down expected, I think, so that makes me happy. And then the last thing that I want to talk about that I really have not seen any criticism for, but I just want to talk about it because I'm so excited, is the monsters. We really finally got a good look at the monsters in these trailers. Specifically, we saw the lying figure, the nurses, Abstract Daddy, and a glimpse of the mannequins as well. I think everyone looks so good. I really like the lying figure that you can see. On all of them, you see the details that were there. That the PlayStation 2 just couldn't fully give us. It was, these are things that we've seen Masahiro Ito's sketches. We know that they're supposed to be there, but the technology was just limited. The stitching on the back of the lying figure is so cool. They still have their little boots. And the vomit is so gross. And I love that, you know, they can like grab you and you have to like push away from them. I love that you get this intimate, closer look at the monsters, because the monsters are like one of the coolest parts of Silent Hill. And the nurses, the movement of the nurses when they get up, I think is so faithful to the original, but it's just all that more scarier because you can see it more clearly. And the red block on their face, you can see more clearly. And they're doing the Jacob's Ladder head shake, and ooh, it's got me so excited. And the mannequins can crawl on the ceiling now, which I think is really smart, because the mannequins are my personal favorite, because I'm a huge fan, is a weird word to say, but admirer of Hans Belmer's work. He's a very controversial figure in art history. Honestly, I'd love to make a video about him one day. He has nothing to do with the internet, but there's so much there. But the mannequins were inspired firsthand by his poupée dolls. And to me, they're always been the scariest, because I know like the history of those sculptures and of Hans Belmer. But as far as like them actually in the game, you know, they just kind of kick you. Like, they're not that intimidating physically beyond being scary looking. So I like that they can crawl. I think that adds a level of just like creepiness to them. And I've always liked the mannequins, because as someone who is familiar with Hans Belmer, I like the idea that these creatures are like taking back some sort of agency within themselves to attack and to fight back, at least with James. Maybe not with their main abuser, which is Pyramid Head, but with James. So I'm excited. I can't wait for the mannequins. I'm psychoanalyzing the mannequins. What else is new? And we didn't really get to see the flesh lips a ton, but like the cutscene where they were, oh, I'm so excited. I think the cutscenes all look great. I think it's rendered lovely. I know it's a little funky fresh with Angela in the cemetery. I hope that that's a bug that will be fixed, though. The textures and stuff in that. Overall, I think this was a really exciting transmission. I'm super thrilled that this game is coming out in a few months. And, you know, as much as I ranted specifically about people being weird about Angela, I have seen a lot of really, really positive, fun feedback about this. People are excited. People are making memes. It's exciting. It's a really exciting time to be a Silent Hill fan. And it's just so cool that I'm seeing Silent Hill 2 trending. I'm seeing people talk about it. It's just so exciting that it's back in the cultural zeitgeist. Oh, and one thing that I forgot to include this, one of my favorite details in the entire trailer or gameplay trailer is that James physically takes the map out and writes on it. I don't know why I like that so much. It's like cute to me. I don't know. It's just little touches like that. I'm excited. I really like, you know, the way that you see the written pieces of paper. The word immersion is used to death these days, but it is immersive in a different way, and it's a different way to experience Silent Hill. And I think that's the important thing, is I am viewing this almost as an adaptation of the original game rather than a remake. And to me that means the core story is there, but it's going to be presented a little bit differently. And that's okay, because why remake something shot for shot? For example, I have my Crow shirt on right now. The Crow is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love it so dearly. It means a lot to me. And there's a remake coming out with Bill Skarsgård later this year, and it's definitely not a shot-for-shot remake. He looks different. The story's been changed a little bit. And, you know, I'm a little nervous about that as far as how I think I'm going to like it. I don't know how I'm going to feel about it because the original means so much to me. But I'm really happy that they're making those changes because it can live kind of as a separate thing, so that both can live. We don't have to compare them too much to each other. They're two different adaptations of one thing, which in this case is the original Crow comic book. So I think if we view this Silent Hill 2 remake more like an adaptation, it can maybe make people ease up a little bit. And that's not me saying, oh, you have to play it and like it because it's an adaptation, not a remake. No, that's me saying, if you really are upset about this, just ignore it. Go play the original. You don't have to play that one. No one's making you. You know what? I don't think I'm gonna like this more than the original because I'm such a huge fan of it. But there are people who have never played the original, cannot access it, that are at least going to get a taste of what Silent Hill is. And, you know, this will be their Silent Hill. And you gotta just be okay with that. Because things change, things grow. New people get into new things. Every generation has their own version of something. And that's okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you for letting me scream for a second. You know, please let me know what you think, if you're excited, what makes you nervous, and what's gonna happen when they show Eddie. Imagine the Discourse. Imagine. I'm gonna have to make a whole video just about Eddie. I think they're not gonna show him until the game comes out. I think after this, they're like, we're done. We're done. Thank you for watching. Konami, if you do want to make me a Konami shill and pay me $10,000, I'll take it. I will proudly be a Konami shill, but until then, this is all just the opinion of glitchwitch.jpg. Go physically write in a map and have a lovely day. Bye.